Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Simply Rhoda. If it's your first time on this channel, honey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the live, and and join me. So we just go live right now, and based on the title, guys, you know what we're going to be talking about in this channel. What's teaching in China like in 2024? That is the title of this, but I kind of have different feeling, like I really want to change the title of this. I really want to change the subject of this, but anyway, you guys, you are here because you saw the title, so I just have to go with that. So anyway, let's give it some few minutes to see some people joining. And at the moment, no one is in the channel as yet. If somebody joins in, I will start with the subject because I feel like I'll be just talking to myself, and I want people to listen to what I'm saying. Yeah. Anyway, while I'm waiting for others, you guys, have you seen some of my videos that are in the channel about my Zimbabwe trip? And I still have more coming up. Hi. I see we have one guest. Somebody just joined. Hi, please can you introduce yourself and let me know where you're watching me from? Also, please do not forget to like this live stream. Thank you, thank you. Let me know who you are so that this conversation can be two-sided. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm waiting in the comments here to see if you can send me a hi or just tell me where you're watching me from. Anyway, we just lost that viewer at the moment. So yes, guys, I do have a lot of videos in my channel at the moment, and I wish you've seen some of the videos because I kind of feel like the videos that are in my channel are really an it. So I feel like you guys, if you have a chance, I would love you to go and watch some of the videos that are in this channel, and also let me know what you think, guys. I do have a video that will be coming in the I think in a few days' time. I told you I have this big project I'm working on in Zimbabwe, and some of you are still just speculating and not really sure what it is. But I am going to be revealing what the project is about in the video that will be coming in a few days' time. The video is there, but the video is still under construction, meaning that I'm still putting up the clips together. I'm still working on the video, and in few days time, you guys, you're gonna know what I am working on in Zimbabwe, and I really can't wait to share. And I just want to know your opinions, and I want your help as well, because there are some bits and parts of that video that I left out, and also I had to ask so many questions from you, my viewers, because I know you always give me valid and always give me helpful advice. So I left that part, and I am also kind of curious, like, what am I gonna get? Because I did ask a lot for your opinions. Yeah, I can see you guys coming in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining in. And also, just as you end up, please don't forget to like this live. And also, if you have a platform where you can share our live stream, I'll be so grateful for you doing that. Let me see. Today's a Friday here in China, and it's after 8. Yes, this live was scheduled for 8 p.m. and it's after 8. And I'm too curious to know what time it is where you're watching me from. And if you can, y'all, just let me know in the comment section. I think it's more funnier if I can know the people I'm talking to, although I can't see your faces, but I can imagine. Yeah, I can have, like, an idea, just have that idea of building up building up somebody like a face, or just imagine if I can see you saying hi in the comment section. Yeah, please don't forget to like the live. Yes, don't forget to like the live. So yeah, like I say, give me 1 minute, guys. I'll be back. I just washed my hair, and I thought it was dry, so I removed the towel, but I'm starting to feel like there's water dripping. Tyler, Tyler, can you give me a towel, please? Yes, I have to ask Tyler to bring a towel for me to tie my hair again. Yes, that's the battle of washing. Any towel, take from the towel rack. No, not in the bathroom, outside. Yes, I'm sending Tyler. Outside. You see the towers, right? And also, please, that is not my, is that my towel? Let me see. Yeah, that's my towel. Turn off the light, please. Thank you. So, yes, I just washed my hair, and watching braids, for me, I know some people prefer to go to the hair salon to have their hair washed, but I'm in China, they don't really understand about these things. The last time I actually made a video, the last time I went there to do my hair in the Chinese hair salon, I kind of regretted it because at the end, my hair was completely destroyed, and now my hair cannot pick up. It's a big problem. It's a huge problem. Now I'm trying to grow my hair well, but at first it was damaged in the hair salon, and then I went to Zimbabwe. I wanted to do locks on my hair, and it turns out that the locks that were planted were not to my satisfaction, and I had an idea. I mean, I had actually thought of like having my hair cut and start again. And some people, you know um okay, and some people had to ask me if I could undo, because they thought me it's possible to undo locks, and I was like, it's okay because my hair is a bit longer, and I agreed to that. Little did I know that that was gonna damage my hair, to the way it is right now. It's not growing, it's just breaking. So now I don't dare go into the Chinese hair salons because of that same reason. Now I try to do my hair on my own at home, wash my hair at home, and etc. So where we I? Okay, now, mm, yeah, based on the title, now we are talking about teaching in China in 2024. So first, what I wanted to talk about is the criteria or the procedures. We can start on anyway. If you are thinking of coming to China to teach English, you haven't been to China and it's going to be your first time in China, it is a great idea, a very wonderful idea. And I can say that teaching here has its ups and downs, but I cannot speak for every person. If you are lucky, you can actually find a place that you will love and you can never regret. So teaching in China can be a good thing. It can be a life-changing thing. It just depends on where you will find a job. But anyway, before even moving to China, before you even start your process of coming to China, the very first thing I would like you to do when you do your research about moving to China, with the intention to teach here in China, is to do enough research before you leave your country. Do enough research. I know there are various ways to find jobs, the main one being through agencies, right? So when you find a job through an agency, sometimes you may not have an idea of what kind of institute, what kind of job. And some agencies actually, they do they are freelance. They are freelance agencies, which means they are not connected to the schools. But what they do is they will look for teachers and then introduce the teachers to the schools that will be looking for teachers, right? So they are like the middlemen. But I've seen or I've heard a lot of people falling for these ones. There are different kinds of agencies. So falling, wait a minute, Tyler, don't you think you need to put this one in a good place? Look at that. Don't you think you need to put it in your Chinese book? Put it in your Chinese book. Don't lose it. Okay. Sorry, guys. Hi, Peekaboo, Peekaboo. I think I know who you are. How are you? So tell me, where are you watching me from? Yes. Where are you watching me from? And also, guys, let's have a conversation here. Teaching in China in 2024, like, what is it like? right? What is it like? That's the title here. Anyway, I just wanted to cover all the bases. I want to cover from looking for a job, working in China, finding a job and moving to China, and joining the English teaching job in China in 2024. It is a lucrative thing. It is a good idea. It is something that you won't regret. It's life changing. It can be life changing in a good way or bad, or both ways. I can't really judge. So you kind of come here with an open mind. Honestly, if you are thinking of coming and teaching in China in 2024, just don't have too many expectations. Yeah, you have to limit expectations. Just come with an open mind. If things turn out right, then that's good. That's a bonus for you. If things go otherwise, you continue to learn and continue to search where you can thrive. So okay, let's look about the first thing you need to like I have addressed. There are multiple and various ways to find jobs, find schools. As you know, the best way to find a school in China is during the beginning or the end of the semester, because some schools will recruit new teachers at the end of the semester in preparation for the next semester, right? Or some schools will just do last minute recruitments, that is at the beginning of a semester. So, like now, is the semester just began last week and it's the first week, and some schools may be looking for teachers right now as we speak. Some may have been let down on last minute, because it's not only the teachers that are disappointed here, even the schools, they can be disappointed, because remember, these are foreign teachers. Teachers are coming from other countries. They may go on vacation and decide not to come. Whereas changing jobs is a different thing entirely, because a teacher cannot just change a job and decide not to come to work, because there is a process that needs to be followed. If a teacher decides to change a job, there is a process they need to follow. You cannot just wake up and say, yay, I don't want to work for this company. I don't want to work for this school. I want to move to another school. It's not as easy as that, especially if you are on a working permit. If you are using a working visa, you cannot just hop from one job to another as easy as that. There is a procedure you need to follow, and also pre-planning. You need to plan ahead of time. So let's look at some of the points that I've jotted down here. I'm just going to follow that so that we have a format, and that can be helpful to somebody who is planning on moving to China. So it depends on I spoke about the ways or various ways you can use to find a job here in China. Well, I need to elaborate again on that, because I think I didn't go in depth concerning that part. When you're looking for a job, when you're looking for a job in China and you are outside of China, I can pretty say maybe the agent, because you may not be aware of the foreigners communities here in China, or you may not be aware of schools, like go to the school directly, or like there are several ways of finding jobs, if you, especially if you are living in China. Mainly word of mouth, or friend referrals. That is so common. And if you can find a job through that means or any of those ways, I think it could be much better than when you find a job through an agent. Now, that's why I say you may not know if you're outside of China. I think because of social media nowadays, I think the first thing you need to do when you want to find a job in China, try to go on social media, like on Instagram or even here on YouTube. Look for people who are content creators living in China. I think that is the best way if you want to source for information before you take an offer through an agency or anybody. While you're outside of China and you have never been to China, you don't know how the system works. I think the best way is to find people online. You can go on Instagram. One thing I've noticed about the people who are teaching here or who have been teaching in China for a long time, they are not They're not selfish with information. So if you come to anybody, look for anybody's Instagram and ask them about teaching in China at the moment, I'm sure you can be helped. You can be helped. People here are not that selfish. They are not selfish in any way. So they can share with you, they can tell you, they can give you a good advice, and even can help you to do some research about some institutes or some agencies, because the agencies that recruit, most of them are well known by people living in China. So if you ask for information about the agencies or the agent, if they do have some dark sides, I'm sure you can get to know about that before you even go ahead and sign a contract and find yourself in a mess at the end. So one thing I want to know is one thing I would like you to let you know is, if you are planning to move to China to teach English in 2024 here, the first thing, look for, you need to look, you need to be employed. If you're outside of China, the best way is to come to China with a work visa on your passport. That is the best way. So that means you need to find a job while you are still wherever you are, and coming to China will be easier for you once you have that work permit on it. I can say the work visa or the Z visa. Once you have it, it will be easier for you to come to China. And then when you get here, that visa will be extended to a working visa. That is the work permit that can only be done when you arrive in China. So that is the first process. Then when you come here, you also need to understand that your visa, is it linked to your school? Because there are so many laws now pertaining teaching in China and working in China. There are so many laws. So be aware of agencies that may offer you a job, and when you come here, they'll give you visas that are not linked to the schools that you are going to be teaching in. And I can say another thing: if you find a job through an agency, try to request to be connected to the school that wants to employ you. Ask the agent to connect you. I think that is much better if you can do a background check before you buy that plane ticket and find yourself in a mess in China. So like I said, the law concerning teaching and visas and permits in China is changing, or it is changing, especially in 2024. It is changing. A lot of things are changing. So do be aware. I know for the first timers, if you just come to China, you may not be aware of that, which means you need to do enough research on that, because once you come here, and it's not just having a work permit or a work visa so you can work any way you feel like. No, it's not like that. Nowadays, these visas have to be tied to a place where you must be working on daily basis. If you are happen to work on a different place and the police get to know about that, you may be in big trouble. Don't say I didn't warn you. You will be in big trouble. So when you accept jobs and accept visas, know that, or be aware to check that your visa is linked to your current place of work. Don't, if it's different, then know that you are breaking the law. Most teachers are not aware of this, if especially if the company or the school does their visa, they may not be aware of this, and how dangerous it is to be found working in another place that is different from your place of work that is linked to your visa. So this is something that you need to research. If you are teaching in China at the moment and you are not aware of that, you can search, because when you get the work card had a code at the back. You can actually scan that code with your WeChat and you can check, because on that work card will give you the address, that is your place of work, the address where the school or your institute apply your visa for. You can see the address. So if that address is corresponding with your place of work, no, you are safe. But if it's different, then it means you are teaching illegally. Yes, you might have a work permit or a teaching visa or whatever, but the moment the address or the place of work or the addresses are different, then you are illegally. It doesn't matter, it's the same school. Maybe, there are schools that runs maybe different branches, maybe around the city. They may have one in another, in the north, in the south, in the middle, or what. It doesn't matter how many schools of the same school and how many branches are there. It doesn't really matter. But the fact is that if you are teaching in branch B, your visa should be from branch B of that school. That means the address in your visa should be linked to that school. Once it is different, then it means you are teaching illegally. You are not a legal teacher, so you need to verify and see and make sure that has been changed or something has been done towards that, so you won't find yourself in a hot mess. All right, so that's the laws. Like I said, the laws are changing every day. And also be sure to know whether the school is paying you tax. I know some schools teaching in China in 2024 had changed a lot. Anyway, we can say since after the COVID, you find a lot of schools become so reluctant on the promises that they give to teachers, right? You find in a normal contract in China before the COVID, normal contracts have things like benefits that comes with it, like the health insurance, the pension, and all that stuff. Most contracts are supposed to have something like that. But you find in 2024, most schools decide to relax or get away with stuff like that. So it's something that you need to look at. And what you've agreed in the contract, you have to actually go through the contract and understand it. Because if your contract has been signed between you and the school, at least you can have direct conversation, and you can liaise with whoever, the HR manager or the HR or whoever person who be in charge of recruiting in your school. In that case, you can settle some of these things. But if it was done through an agent and something, you also need to make sure you look at these clauses of benefits and what they have to offer. You must have health insurance covered. This is a must in case something happened for you while it's in school. And I've noticed that most schools are just covering school buying accident insurance for foreign teachers. They know if something happened when whilst they're in school, they will be covered. But any other, like hospital insurance, medical insurance, medical cover insurance and stuff, most schools are trying to get away with that by letting the teacher bear that part on their own. Then we go on to housing allowances. It's part of the benefit that usually come with contracts of foreign teachers in China. Housing allowance, or have a subsidy. If you don't want the school to offer you an apartment, the school may give you an equivalent amount so that you can look for a place to stay on your own. But you find nowadays, at the moment, most contracts that are coming out there, they are skipping that part. But it is something that you should ask for as a foreign teacher coming from another country. You should ask for that. It's very important because you're going to need somewhere to stay. If you don't have anywhere to stay, somewhere to stay, it means you need to part with a lot of money. And I'm sure when you are coming for the first time, you may not have that money. And also, if you are being employed from another country coming to China, the school should also buy part of your flight ticket. Some will say buy it and they will reimburse you after you arrive here, because they are also not sure whether you like to stay with them for a longer time or you'll be just here for a shorter time. So they want to be sure before they reimburse you. Some will say that flight ticket will be reimbursed after 6 months working in the school or 3 months. It all depends. Each school has its own rules and they're different. So let's move on to the next part. So I talk about the benefits that you should look for when you decide to come and work in China. Look for health insurance. It could be accident insurance. Make sure you have it. You are covered. And then ask for housing allowance. Make sure you ask for that as well. If you are not comfortable, usually if you accept a house, it might not meet your standards. It might not be something that you like. So in most cases, um I would advise you to ask for a subsidy, or I would urge you to ask for like help, like choose You can ask them to help you find a house, right? But in that case, be there, be there, and be able to pick the house that you want. Don't just let the school choose the house they want for you. Make sure be there, be part of the house hand, so that you can find something you are gonna be living in that you feel comfortable in. So I would urge you to let them look for a house for you once you arrive, so you can do the house stage together. In that case, it will be okay because the school will pay, but they will pay for something that you agree on. And then let's move on to the next one. The next point is so now here we covered how many? We covered three parts, right? We covered how to find the job. We covered different ways of finding jobs, right? Especially if you're a teacher who is coming from outside. If you are a teacher who's currently here, it may be much easier because you know how to go around the system, and you also know how to find, or you can find through word of mouth, friend referrals, or even other people referrals, or on your own. You may know that a school is looking for a teacher, so it's easier for you to search for a job. And then we talk about the incentives, the benefits, things that you ought to have in the contract, and you have to really look into it. Don't be desperate about getting a job. Make sure you get some of those benefits in there and be comfortable either way. And also, nowadays in 2024, you find that most schools aren't as willing to part with what we call the bonus. Well, in the past, the contract usually comes with the bonus for resigning, like after your contract or after you completed a year. The companies usually, or the schools usually, give the teachers a bonus. Yes, that will be probably half of your salary, or it could be equivalent to your salary as bonus, right? um Nowadays you find that most schools are not as generous as that, and most schools are not willing to part with that. In 2024, most schools, they are excluding that part in their contracts, because I don't know what it changed. So you find that most people are no longer talking about that part as well. Even the flight reimbursement, like a return ticket, at the completion of your contract, and you are going to be re-signing. So in the past, the contracts used to come with that, but nowadays, hmm, most job offers are not including that clause. So I don't know what has changed in teaching in China in 2024. No longer having flight reimbursements, no longer have a return ticket, like a two-way to your country and back, you know, after you complete your contract, no longer have the bonus at the end of the contract. I don't know what is changing. I don't know what is changing. So these are something that you need to expect when looking for a job in China in 2024. You need to know that there's something that used to be so easy. You didn't have to negotiate for them. You didn't have to ask for them. But these are things that were just coming with a contract. So I remember when I signed a contract at first, like I told you, moving to China for me was not for teaching, it was for studying. So when I came here, I didn't have any expectations, and I didn't know what I was going to get there. And it took me longer to actually get a job as a full time teacher. So, some of the things, when the time came, I didn't do my research prior to getting a full time job. When I decided that I wanted something that is stable, I wanted something that, that is stable, like I have for one place of work. When I got my first contract, the first time when I got my first contract, I was actually shocked with the contents of my contract, because girl, I didn't know what to expect. So when it so happened, I realized I had a clause that was talking about bonus at the end of the contract, and a return flight to my country, like have a return ticket to my country if I decide to re-sign the contract for the next year. And I also had a housing allowance in it, health insurance in it. Girl, I was like, what were I missing all these years? why am I missing all these years? I then realized that it was really paying well to become a teacher in China, because I don't know if there is any other country that does that, honestly. That at that time, like I'm saying, nowadays, I think there was a video I did, a live I did last week. I spoke about things that how teachers were so in demand in the past as compared to now. At the moment, now you find that teachers are not as they are not on demand as it was in the past, right? So when I first signed my contract, all those things were in the contract: the benefits, the incentives. Every Chinese New Year or every Chinese public holiday, you go with a red envelope, you get money, you get foodstuffs, and these incentives. It was just so inviting. It was so nice. But in recent years, I can't say recent years, I think in 2024 a lot has changed. In 2024 a lot has changed. Some of these things that I once saw in my contract at the beginning, I was kind of reflecting the first time I started working as a full-time and had to sign a contract, and now looking at the contracts in 2024, there's a huge difference. There are so many things missing on contracts that are signed in 2024. So I just want to let you be aware that you may be advised by somebody that you need to expect A, B, C, D. Probably they're still dealing with the school they've been dealing with for the past 8 or whatever years. So the school, it's not easy for schools to scrap something that has been there already. So, but for new teachers coming in, you find that most of these things can be scrapped entirely. You may not even see them on the contract. So yeah, you must be aware of that again. All right, now I want us to look at the payment system in 2024. This is a video. I've done a video entirely on this, the payment system in China. So if you're a new teacher, someone looking to coming to China, I know in your country or other places you've heard that people may get their salaries or their payments at the end of the year. I know at the end of the month, sorry, end of the year. Oh my God, what will you be eating? At the end of the month, like the last day of the month is the payday. I was just thinking about that. Like, well, if I was a teacher in Zimbabwe, probably, or a worker in Zimbabwe, probably, um, yesterday yesterday was the last day of the month, right? So it's payday for most people. Most companies were paying, so I could have received my paycheck yesterday. But because I live in China, so China, the Chinese payment system is different. You find that most schools, um, not only talking of schools, most organizations or companies, right? They pay their workers after working for 40 days or 45 days. You are paid the last month's salary, right? So, for example, my school payment system is on the third, on the 10th. Now today is the first. It means I'm going to be working for 10 more days until I get my salary for February. So you find that it's the same everywhere. Some schools or some organizations are even worse, because some their payments come on the 15th or some on the 20th. That means you work for 15 or half a month before you get your last month's salary. It doesn't include, when the salary comes, it doesn't include the 15 days that you work in another month. No, it's just the past month's salary that will come after 10 days in the new month. Like for me, every 10th, that means I'll get my salary from the last month. So some people may not understand it. I remember I once worked for a school, and there was a teacher who was coming from America. He was a new teacher. He had just arrived in the school, and then he worked for a month. At the end of the month, he was not aware about this payment system. So at the end of the month, the last day of the month, he was expecting to be paid, but he didn't see anything coming in. And I remember he approached me and asked me, Rhoda, have you received your salary? And I'm like, no, it's not salary day yet. And he was like shocked, like, why? What are you talking about? Today's the last day of the month. Why am I not paid? Then I had to explain to him, like in that school, the salaries used to come on the 15th. So I had to explain to him that no, we will receive our paychecks on the 15th. Then he was like, I have to work for 45 days to receive my 30-day salary. And say, yes, that's right, that's China. And I remember the anger that he had on that day. And later, this didn't go well with him. And later on, he had to resign. And I told him, anyway, you go in China, that's how they will do it. And I don't think if they can change the system or the payment system because of you, make it an exception on you. Because he tried to talk to the I remember he tried to talk to the management, and he tried to explain to them that he wanted his salaries to be paid on the last day of the month. And I'm sure they told him there is nothing they can do about it, because they were not responsible. They didn't have any power to change the system. So they only asked him to wait and be patient until the payday. And the guy, it didn't go down well with the guy, so he later left. And I had he left the country and went to another country. I don't know the payment system in that other country, but he left. He was shocked. It was kind of a culture shock, right? Culture shock. This is something that you must expect if you are trying to move to China. And another thing I wanted to talk about is the dress code. You find that if you, I've noticed that in recent years, like in 2024, anyway, we are just talking about 2024. I've realized that most schools in 2024 here in China, they are resorting to the wearing uniforms at workplaces. Yes, wearing uniforms is becoming a thing. I remember in the past nobody really cared. Sorry guys, you keep on seeing me moving my tower and stuff like that. I told you it's the hair problem. My hair, I thought it was dry, but it seems like we are still having the problem with water is still dripping. Okay, yeah. So what am I saying? I'm saying wearing uniforms at workplaces. I've noticed that in 2024, most institutes, most schools, they are resorting to uniforms. I don't know why. They are limiting uh, workplace fashion now, that you are no longer that independent to wear whatever you want. Some people will find it really good and maybe smart, or even save them from thinking and struggling with what to wear to work, right? But some people still think, anyway, I go to work like 5 days a week. That is, if you work in a public school, normal school, or kindergarten and stuff like that, you have to be in school like 5 days a week, right? And you have weekends off. So most of the people may not like it that you have to wear a uniform for 5 days and only enjoy your clothes for 2 days. And sometimes you can't even go out on those 2 days, right? So some people think that that is not right, but for some it could be a good thing, yeah, they don't need to worry about what to wear every morning. So yeah, the wearing of uniforms is becoming a thing in 2024 in schools. Schools are opting for uniforms. If it's a thing that you love, then good for you. If you don't like it, then you just have to manage it. If you are deciding to come and work in China, or if you are here already but you've been wondering why your school is pushing you to wearing a uniform, it's becoming a thing. Most people I speak to are telling me this, that their school suddenly changed. Their school wants them to wear uniform 24 hours, and some schools will even put a law that if you don't wear your uniform to school, they're gonna deduct something from your salary. Yes, Chinese are really good at this. They're really good at this. So any simple thing, if they try to put a law and try to make a rule to be followed in school or something like that, they can threaten by cutting off salaries. It's either lateness to school, going to school late. You find that in 2024, they do not hesitate to do some of these things. And you find that cutting off one salary is a thing in 2024. Yes, it is a thing. Most schools are doing this. They can cut a teacher's salary for any issue. It could be, Taylor, can you? Noise is too much. All right. So cutting off salary is now a thing in China, especially in schools. Yeah, if they are trying to put a rule in an institute and for it to be effective and be followed efficiently, they introduce the cutting of salaries. Like, if you don't follow this or if you do this, we're gonna cut your salary. So it's like threatening with salary cut, not just threatening because they will really do it. I've seen it happening to people. Maybe for low turn up for their kids in the classes, the teacher will lose some, a certain amount. It may not be more, but if it continue to do that, it's money for child fund. It's enough for child fund. So yes, you're gonna feel it. Somebody may not like it, or it may not. You may not be impressed with that. So yeah, lateness, because in China, some of the things that you should expect in 2024, teaching in 2024 is not only about being in the classroom, it's all around about being in the place, entirely being in the place. Yeah. So first thing, you find that this most schools or most institutes impose it to these clocking in, card swipe, fingerprint look. When you go to school, the first thing you need to do is to log in by using your fingerprint or even face scan. So it depends, because of technology now. There are so many various ways that people are using in schools to make sure that attendance is not tampered with. Okay, so like my school, we have to swipe the cards. When I get to work, I have to swipe the card, and that will also show in the system what time I came. So if I'm late, it's gonna contribute to the deductions of part of my salary for lateness. And going home, also you can't leave before your time is up. So you have to wait until you finish work, then you can clock. It also shows if you leave work early, that is also that can lead for them to deduct a certain amount from your salary. So both ways, it's a way of keeping teachers in school. So like I said, every school has a different system. Some schools will use the fingerprint, some schools will use the card system, some schools will use the facial recognition, face scans and stuff like that. So it just depends, but it's something that you should expect in 2024 when you come to teach here. These are some of the how technology is working in most schools. They are trying to, you know, put this for efficiency. I don't really know why, but yes, they are there. Schools are investing a lot in things like this, maybe to make sure that people attend, the attendance is full, is properly recognized, and also that people will not just do as they want, like to kind of put some kind of manner and system, and a system that needs to be followed, right? That's a rule. Okay, another thing that you expect to find in China as a teacher in 2024 is, I think this video is mainly for people who be coming out of China, and because I've had so many people asking questions like the surveillance system. Like I said, every place in China, of course, every place in China, it could be on the streets, despite the school alone, there is this camera. The surveillance system is very strong here. The game is very strong. So you find that from outside, but we don't really care. Somehow I feel like it's really helpful. It can help us to feel safer, although it's safe here already. But I think with the surveillance system, you actually feel at ease. Of course, at first it could be something that will put you in like that corner, like you think, am I being watched? Is there somebody who's just following me wherever I go? Is there somebody who is watching me everywhere? I don't know, but we don't see it. They're there. We don't see it. You can only see the effectiveness of that surveillance system when you lose something. Because here in China, I think we can rarely lose things and not find them. So I've heard stories of people forgetting things in their cars, and by going to the police station, the police can actually trace it to the last stop. Yes. Have you ever seen someone operating this big screen and just finding you from that big screen and follow or trace wherever maybe you forgot something in the car or whatever? They can follow it and find where it went find the driver's name, the car number. That's the good thing about China, once you find one digit, that digit will lead to everything. It's the same like if you're a foreigner, when you come here, once your passport has been entered in the system, every place, especially the government offices and stuff, once they enter your passport number, they're gonna find everything. Your bio data will be there. They're gonna find it everywhere. So you can't really live a secret life when you are living in China. But anyway, there's nothing to hide. Do you have things to hide? If you are planning on coming here to live a secret life, mm, maybe dark life, maybe China will not be the right place for you, because yes, of course, the surveillance system is there, but we don't feel it or think the way the outside may think about it, but it's there. But I feel as a teacher in 2024, I feel really protected. Not just I'm being watched, I feel protected. If anything happens to me, yes, that surveillance system will come in handy, will also be very helpful. That puts my mind at ease. So yes, it's there. And also, we talk about another thing that you need to be worried about is paying of taxes. Yes, I don't know the connection of taxes or the what the law says about taxes between your country and China. I know there are some people who are exempted when it comes to taxes because they have to produce or pay taxes back in their countries. I don't really understand how it works, but for me, my country doesn't have that. So is I'm working in China, I have to pay every month. I pay taxes. I pay taxes to the government here. Actually, this is the money that is deducted directly from my salary. So when I get my salary, my school pay my taxes, is my tax in full. And yeah, I am paying the taxes. I am paying the taxes. And if you ask me on pensions and stuff like that, I am not paying pension here. So I do have a private plan for this. That is my own private plan for my pensions and preparing for my when I get old, the pension part, because my school is not paying for that. And I want to believe that most schools in China do not pay for that unless these are international schools or I don't know, certain kind of institutes. But for what I'm aware is most people are not getting that, the pension part. So yeah, you can do another research on that if you're planning to come and work here or you're working here, but you want to continue to work here for a certain number of years and you feel like your life will be moving on and you want to know if you can save up pension, your patient gratuity or whatever. I don't know how to call it. I can't really say much about that subject, but it's something that you need maybe to talk to your school about, or you need to, yeah, educate yourself more on that, or ask your school. Yeah, ask your school, because I know for Chinese counterparts they do have it. It's very important, and that's why you find most people or most teachers here who are Chinese teachers who stay in school even if they don't like their job, but they stay in the education sector because they want to have that pension. They know one day they will be old, one day they will need that money, so that's why they may decide to continue to work for a certain number of years in contribution to that. Okay, another thing that I want you to expect teaching in 2024. Anyway, most schools, I think this one is an old thing, um and also it depends with the school or the institute. Like for me, I teach in a kindergarten, and there are mandatory healthy checks that you need to do, especially if you are teaching in a kindergarten. These are yearly healthy checks. I remember the first year you have to pay for yourself. It's not a huge amount of money. They do have specific checks they need teachers in kindergartens to do. But I'm not sure about schools, public schools, middle schools, or high schools and stuff like that, or primary schools. I'm not sure about those ones. But kindergartens, I'm quite sure. I have asked other teachers in kindergartens as well. They did confirm that. I think it's a China thing, that teachers teaching in certain kinds of institute, they have to do some healthy checks, certain healthy checks, like not everything, but certain healthy checks for them to work in these institutes. If you can't pass, I think there's no way. the kindergartens will employ you. I don't know what they are really, but yes, every year, I know every year we do have to go to hospitals to do a check. So the first year, you have to part with your own money for that. And the second year, if you are still in the same institute, they will reimburse you your money, so you don't need to pay. You only need to come with what they call the FAPIAO, that is the official receipt from the hospital stating the bill or the amount you paid for this. You need to bring it to the accountant, the school accountant, and you can have your money reimbursed. Okay, so healthy checks, mandatory healthy checks in schools. In 2024, it has become really, really a mandatory thing to do. It's become really an essential thing to do. So do not be in a panic or a shock like, hey, I already did the medicals, so why do I have to go to the hospital and do this again? It's a different thing. When you do the visa medicals, they are totally different from these kindergarten medicals. They are totally different, so you have to do them. And you find that each city has the designated places to do them, so you cannot just walk in any hospital to do them. There are designated places in every city to do such kinds of tests. So, yeah, expect that in 2024, expect such medical um, checkups. Then another thing that you should expect in guys, I want to thank you if you are still here and you are still with me until this right end. Guys, you are a champ, and I want to thank you for sticking out with me, and I want to thank you for staying with me throughout this live. And now we only have 10 minutes to end this live. You know, our lives are not really longer, are not really long. Max is 1 hour or 1 hour and some minutes. Um, we are not keeping them longer because we want the people that watch them as playbacks to be able to, watch until the end, or to be able to follow the topic. If it becomes really longer, I think it will be harder for somebody to have such a longer amount of time to sit and watch a playback, because it will not be in time now, it will be in past. So yes, so I'm gonna make it really shorter, and maybe a little under an hour this time. Now we are just 52 minutes in this live, and I want to thank you, and I do appreciate you. I want you to know that I appreciate you for being here tonight. And it's a Friday. It is a Friday. Anyway, let's come back to the topic. And if you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so, because these lives are gonna be coming, irregardless. They're gonna be coming once or twice a week, so please just stay with me. And yeah, let's move on to the last but not least. Something that you should expect teaching in China in 2024 is the holidays. Yes, this one, I wasn't gonna leave the live without explaining this part. If you are not teaching in China, and if you are a teacher in China right now, please let me know in the comment section. How do you feel about the holidays? You find in 2024, the system has totally changed as in the past. So you find the holidays that you'll be getting in 2024 are not fully holidays, because you are going to work for them to enjoy them. If you're a teacher in China at the moment, tell me, how do you feel about this? Comment right in the comment section. How do you feel about working for your holidays? Because this is something that puts a lot of foreigners in a bad shape. Like, they feel like, why? Why is it a holiday? Why do I have to work extra for me to enjoy 2 days, or for me to enjoy 3 days, an extra day of holiday? So where is the holiday part for it? Okay, in China, since after the COVID, you find that there were so many months, and I mean 4 years of the COVID period, that in China it was really difficult for people to work. So they did miss a lot of work time and productive time while we were in quarantine or in lockdowns. So you find that every holiday that comes in, of course, they can't really scrap the holiday to say there's no longer a holiday in China. It is still there, but they would like you to kind of do a payback for that. That is, you have to do part of the work to pay for it and enjoy the holiday. Suppose we have a long weekend. be sure to know that the following week you will have to work an extra Sunday or an extra Saturday because you had 3 days holiday in the past. They will still want to take or pay back some of the time and be productive, so in for example, we just finished the Chinese New Year a couple of week days ago, right? And the Chinese knew the official dates were 7 days, right, including the weekends. But then before the Chinese New Year, the schools or some workplaces, schools were already on vacation, but private schools and some workplaces of normal workplaces, they had to work an extra day before the new year just to cover up for some of the days they were going to take for the new year holiday. So you find that every holiday in China nowadays, you have to pay back. We have to either work 6 days for us to enjoy 4 consecutive days of a holiday. You have to work 6 days from Monday to Saturday or from Sunday to Friday. So you have to work an extra day to enjoy a holiday. So it's something that still cannot, most people living in China, they cannot really adapt to that because they can't take it, because you find by the time you start the holiday, you are exhausted already because you have been working nonstop for 6 days only to enjoy 4 days. So you find that the first day will be wasted because you are trying to recover, right? Then when you start to realize that, okay, it's a holiday, then you start to think about going back to work. Probably you are going to work for 6 days again because you need to pay back another day. So this is something that you should expect if you are going to come to China and work in China in 2024. Expect to work extra days. Expect to work extra days because that is doomed to get more holidays, more residents. Okay, guys, I really want to thank you again once more for joining me tonight. And yeah, I think we've reached the end of our live. Thank you so much for coming. I will see you in the next live. And whilst you are here, you can also go in my channel, find some of my recent videos. They are doing well right now, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy. I have my recent video that I just released yesterday, and it's about the public transportation in Zimbabwe that is popularly known as the Mushika Shika. Go find out yourself. I had the opportunity to interview one of the Mushika Shika drivers. Well, these Mushika Shika, these are kind of private cars that people turn into public transportation. But anyway, a private car, usually the sitting space is not that much, but they are trying to, capitalize by by carrying people more than the required people that should enter in a private car. They are trying to maximize, like in the front seat where it's usually two people, you find that most of this Mushika Shika would be carrying four people in the front seat, four people in the back seat, and even in the trunk they can put other four people. So at the end the car will be overloaded. So there is this war between the Mushika Shika drivers and the police. So you find that I had the opportunity during my time in Zimbabwe, I had the opportunity to take the Mushika Shika on multiple number of times. I can't really say I regretted it. Actually, I had so much fun taking the Mushika Shika. One thing I've realized about them, they are convenient, they are fast. Although I know that the number of people that will be in that car or that way in those cars were more than the required numbers. Not only, I mean, for safety reasons, I knew that I was putting myself in a very dangerous space, but the convenience is amazing. And yeah, I had the opportunity to speak to one of the Mushika Shika. If you haven't watched Mushika Shika drivers, if you haven't watched that video, go in my channel right now. It's the new video that I just posted yesterday. And go and find out. And you can probably see yourself the number of people that were in the car if you go to watch that video. So again, guys, it's time for us to finally say goodbye. I will see you. I can see we are three of us. Those who are just joining me, it's about time for me to leave. But anyway, you can do a playback. Also, before I end this live, please bless me by your like. Please, can you like my live and subscribe to my channel? And I'll see you in the next live. Thank you so much. It's goodbye for now, and I have a happy weekend. And by the way, today is the first day of the month, and that is my first live in this month. I want to thank you for joining me and blessing to you and your families. And see you in the next live. Bye.